Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to our session today about the MENA Scholarship Search Fund, MSSF. So we are happy to have our country director for Tunisia and Libya operation, Ms. Amideast, and she will be talking to us about what's the requirements of this scholarship, what do you need to apply and to be an MSSF student, what kind of documents you need to attach to the application. Annie, thank you for being with us today. We're happy to have you and to ask you all the questions that came to us from our students. We're happy to have you here, and we're gonna start with the session. So if you have any questions, please either drop them down to the chat box on Zoom or on the comments box on our page.
All right, well, thank you, Ilham. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here to talk about this scholarship opportunity offered by Amideast. And hello to everyone who's watching. As Ilham said, my name is Annie Stetler, and I'm the country director for Amideast in Tunisia. So should I jump in, Ilham, with a quick presentation of the program? Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay, great. So today we're here talking about the MSSF scholarship, which stands for the MENA Scholarship Search Fund. And I'll just give you a little bit of history about the scholarship. So the MSSF was originally established in 2006, and it was called the Diana Kamal Scholarship Search Fund, or DKSSF. So I know a lot of the people following these pages have heard about DKSSF from us before. And so if you're waiting for that DKSSF scholarship opportunity to open this year, you can stop waiting. This is actually it. We changed the name of the program just last year in December of 2022. So DKSSF has become MSSF. It's the same scholarship. But originally it was named for Diana Kamal, who was a senior vice president at Amideast. And she was really, really passionate about the importance of international education and cultural exchange. And so when she retired, this scholarship was established in her name. And originally the purpose of the DKSSF was actually just to help match students from underserved demographics in the Middle East and North Africa to sort of help them find scholarships that they could apply to and help them apply to them. In the beginning, Amideast wasn't actually giving additional funds, an additional scholarship money through DKSSF. But over time, we started to actually supplement these scholarships with our own funding at times. And so that's why the name was eventually changed to kind of reflect that change. But before the scholarship's name changed, it's benefited over 200 students from Tunisia, from Libya, from Yemen, Syria, from all over the Middle East and North Africa since it was established in 2006. So there's a little over 200 MSSF scholars now. So what is MSSF today? Now, the purpose of MSSF is to assist highly qualified students, again, from underserved populations in the Middle East and North Africa who want to pursue their undergraduate studies in the United States. So I want to first emphasize this is exclusively a scholarship for students pursuing undergraduate studies in the United States. So it's not a master's degree program, not for PhD studies, not for long-term English training or trade school or anything like that. It's exclusively for people who are applying to four-year universities essentially for a bachelor's degree in the United States. And the whole purpose of the scholarship is to help students close the financial gap. What do we mean by that? What we mean is every year we see students who are really talented who win these huge generous scholarship packages to universities in the United States. And they sometimes have to turn down those scholarships because they can't close the gap. Meaning, maybe the scholarship is for $85,000 but the total amount needed for tuition and room and board and health insurance is $90,000. Sometimes students have to turn down those really generous awards because their family cannot pay that gap of $5,000 or whatever it is. Sometimes students actually even get full ride scholarships, meaning all tuition is covered, all room and board is covered, all health insurance is covered, but they still can't afford to accept the offer because there's additional costs like the flight to the US or the visa costs or the books or computer, and they can't afford those. And so they have to actually turn those offers down. So that's what MSSF is here to help with. We want to help you close that financial gap and cover those supplemental costs that are over and above what the universities and families together can contribute. So to be eligible for MSSF, pretty simple. First, you need admission to a 4-year undergraduate program at a US college or university. So that means if you don't already have the admission, at this point, you're not eligible for the scholarship. You have to already have been admitted and received your generous, very generous scholarship package. So that's bullet point number 2. You need to have already won a substantial or very generous financial aid package. And again, what do we mean by that? We mean either a full ride scholarship, meaning all tuition and housing and sometimes health insurance is paid for completely, but you still need a little bit of supplemental help. Or it means that you have, almost full costs covered. So almost all of the tuition is covered, or almost all of the tuition and all of the room and board. That's what we mean by substantial. So full tuition or near full tuition. The third eligibility criteria is demonstrated financial need. So you need to be able to demonstrate that if it weren't for the MSSF scholarship, you would actually have to turn down this offer from this college or university. And then finally, you and your parents must not be holders of a US passport or green card. So if you or your parents or one of your parents has a US passport or green card, then unfortunately you would be ineligible for this scholarship. So that's a basic overview of the program. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen at this point, and I'm here for your questions.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you so much. We would like to ask you about the selection process or timeline for the MSSF, if you can make it clear for our students here.
Yes, so the timeline is actually pretty simple and it's going to move pretty quickly. The application is due on February 15th, so that is Wednesday. So it's due pretty soon. And then our team will be reviewing all applications right away. Actually, we've already been reviewing them. For those who have come early, we've been reviewing them on a rolling basis. So our plan is actually to conduct the interviews in late February. So by the end of this month, we expect to have completed the interviews for all eligible candidates. So basically, if you apply and you meet the eligibility requirements that I talked about, we will interview you. And then we will be nominating our slate of candidates to our team at HQ as soon as the interviews are over. And we hope to have answers for people very quickly, because we know that some of your colleges and universities are waiting on those answers.
Mm-hmm. All right, so if you can tell us, how can a student make his application stand out from other applicants? There is a whole pool of applicants applying for the same scholarship, so how can he add that special taste?
Well, so aside from demonstrated financial need, which I've already talked about, we're really looking for students who are going to give back to their communities, because we hope that this scholarship will have a larger impact than just on the student themselves. Of course, we're happy to help the students themselves, but ideally, we want to know that the scholarship is going to have a larger impact. So if you talk about how you winning this scholarship would actually benefit your hometown or country, or perhaps would benefit the US campus that you're going to. Just talk about how you intend to have a larger impact and how you attending a US university or college will have a larger impact. And then we're also looking for things like leadership and community service experience. So please do mention in your motivation letter any type of leadership or community service experience that you have. And we're looking for an interest in international education and cultural exchange. Again, the scholarship was originally designed to honor Diana Kamal, who was so passionate about the power of cultural exchange. Obviously, anyone who's applying for this scholarship has applied to US universities. They have an interest in international education, clearly. But tell us why. Tell us why it's really important for you why you're so interested in attending a college or university in the United States. Why this program, why this school, why the United States?
Mm-hmm. And with that, is there are there any specific universities that are targeted, or any specific majors that are special to this scholarship?
That's a great question. And the answer is there are no targeted universities and there are no targeted majors. As long as it is an accredited university that awards 4-year degrees. So again, no trade schools, no community colleges, which are great, but you would not be eligible for this scholarship if you're attending a community college, or if you're attending grad school. But if it's an accredited US college or university that offers bachelor's degrees, then we will consider funding a scholarship to that college or university. And there are no targeted majors whatsoever. So we have students on MSSF right now who are studying computer science, political science, literature, all sorts of things. We do not have a preference when it comes to the field of study.
That's great. And do you think there is a specific number of grantees each year?
So there isn't exactly a specific number of Tunisian grantees, but basically our panel will nominate every single Tunisian student that we believe deserves a scholarship. And then it is up to our team at HQ to make that determination of who they will afford a scholarship to, but there's no set number. I believe most years we've sent about 3 or 4 Tunisian students, but that's not because there's a specific quota. That's just the number of eligible students that we received applications from. I know that last year was the biggest class of MSSF students in history. At the time, we called them DKSSF, but there are about 22 students or more. But most of them came from Egypt. So my goal is to increase the number of Tunisian students. I want to compete with our Egypt office.
Great. All right. So what should students do if they're interested in this scholarship, but they did not secure any acceptances or financial aid yet? That some regular decision students are still waiting for their acceptance. So how could they do that?
Yes, great question. So if you've already applied to a US college or university and you just haven't received an acceptance and a financial aid package yet, that's okay. As I said, the application will close on February 15th, but we are going to reopen it for regular decision students. Right now, we're giving the priority to those early decision or early action applicants because we know that they have to respond to their institutions very quickly. So we are giving them the priority. But we will be opening the application again. So please just keep an eye on the Amideast Tunisia page for that announcement.
Great. Annie, we've got a question. So is there any age limit for this scholarship?
There is no age limit at all. If you have received admission to an undergraduate program in the US, a 4-year program, then you're eligible.
Great. Can maybe a transfer student apply for this university or for this scholarship?
So a transfer student, do you mean a student who maybe has started their studies here in Tunisia and they're planning to complete their studies in the US? Yes,
Or
yes, they would
also,
be. Mhm.
yeah, or also we can, like a student who completed a 2-year university degree, and then he's applying to a 4-year university.
Okay, so I would say a student who's here in Tunisia, maybe they've done their first or second year of undergraduate studies in Tunisia, and now they've gotten admission to a US university to complete their degree. Yes, absolutely, that person would be eligible. Now, if you're already in the United States and already attending a US college or university, you would have to explain to us how has your financial situation changed? Because again, the point of this scholarship is that it's supposed to be awarded to students who would have to turn down their offers if they didn't receive MSSF, meaning they couldn't go to the US to study if they did not receive MSSF. So if you're already in the US studying, you'll have to explain what has changed. So if you're, for example, if you're completing a degree at a community college, and then moving to a 4-year university, that's probably a pretty easy explanation. We know that most US colleges or universities, 4-year degree granting institutions are much more expensive than community colleges. So that would be a pretty easy explanation. If you're transferring from one 4-year university to another, you would just have to explain what has changed in your financial situation. Why do you now need MSSF to cover you when you didn't need that last year?
All right. So can you please tell us what should we highlight in the motivation letter beyond our extracurricular activities, our motivation to study in the US? So what could be the wow factor in the motivation letter?
I think you hit the most important points. The extracurriculars, but particularly any extracurriculars that highlight leadership, again, or community service, a history of giving back to your community. That would be a wow factor. Again, demonstrating your interest in international education and cultural exchange is important. So why is it so important for you to attend this program at this college or university in the United States? Or why the United States? Or just why is it important to you to study internationally in general? We're really just trying to get to know you as a person and feel like we have a sense of you as a person outside of, the numbers in the application of the father's annual salary and the mother's annual salary and your GPA. We want to just get to know you as a person. So anything to show your personality, your motivation. And also, I would say if you have participated in Amideast programs previously, for example, if you are a YES alum or you're involved in the CCC with Ilhem, please do let us know that. That's not at all a requirement to receive the scholarship. So if you've never participated in an Amideast program before, don't worry, you're absolutely still eligible. But if you have, then we'd love to know that.
That's great. Now, how about someone who has been admitted to a highly competitive college but needs much more than this supplemental funding?
So again, the purpose of the scholarship is to cover those supplemental funds. So if you need $30,000, MSF is probably not going to be the right scholarship for you. Now, we don't have an official cutoff of what is supplemental and what is non-supplemental, but if you need a really significant amount of money to cover that gap between what the university has offered and what your family can afford, of course, you could look, there are always other scholarships, other foundations and NGOs offer scholarships. So I would encourage you to search for other scholarships to kind of build upon the one that your university or college has promised you. And if you can do that and then still need supplemental funding, then of course, then feel free to reach out to us and to apply for MSSF. But if you really are looking for a significant amount of money to cover a large gap in tuition, then unfortunately, MSSF is just not the right scholarship for you.
And now, what if a student is self-funded? Can he still apply for the MSSF scholarship?
So By self-funded, do you mean that they have not received any financial aid and they're completely paying for themselves, or their
Yes.
family is covering them? In that case, I would say that that is not an underserved individual. And the purpose of MSSF is to provide assistance to students and families who are underserved. So somebody who can self-fund a degree in the United States would not be considered underserved, and no matter how impressive they might be, we could not consider them for this scholarship.
Right. And we have a very, very important question, which is, what if the student's financial aid can be affected by the MSSF scholarship?
So that's a great question. Obviously, there are different kinds of scholarships that people can receive. So some are need-based and some are merit-based. If you receive a merit-based scholarship, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, Ilham, but generally a merit-based scholarship doesn't really depend on your financial situation. It's just an amount of money that a college or university is offering to you because they so badly want you to join their university. But then on the other hand, there are need-based financial aid offers. And sometimes the college or university has determined, for example, Ilham, she needs $60,000. She doesn't need any more than that. We've looked at all of her documents, her family's documents, and we have determined she only needs $60,000. So then if Amideast comes and gives Ilham an extra $5,000, the university might say, oh, great. So you only need $55,000, Ilham, because as we've already determined, you only need $60,000. So we're only going to give you $55,000 now. So those scholarships are out there. And so it's really important for the students to read the fine print on those scholarships, because we would never encourage students to hide their MSSF scholarship from their college or university. So if that's the type of financial aid that you have, where it could be reevaluated if you receive further aid, then the MSSF scholarship might not be the right scholarship for you.
Yeah, thank you for highlighting this. Now, part of the requirements of the MSSF application is to attach a CSS profile to show the financial need of that student or applicant. So, what if the student did not apply for the CSS profile, or his school is not even listed on the CSS profile list of schools?
So in that case, what the student can do is they can instead upload the ISFAA document, and that stands for International Student Financial Aid Application. If you have one of those, you can upload that. That would be our preference. If you don't have that document either, then what you can do is upload other documents that would help us make our determination of your financial needs, such as your parents' bank statements, pay slips, or anything else that you think would help us to get the full picture of your financial situation. We might then follow up with you and ask for clarification, or maybe ask for more documents, but at least for the initial application, just send us what you can.
And I have students in the on Facebook Live asking about SAT or TOEFL scores. So do you think they should attach them in the application?
There's no need to attach the SAT or TOEFL scores, because again, if you're applying for the scholarship, you already have admittance. We don't need to see your SAT. We don't need to see your TOEFL. We assume that the university is very happy with those scores if you submitted them.
Great. If you can, Annie, can you clarify some of the fees that MSSF can cover so that students would know what it can cover and what not?
So it really is going to depend on each individual student. Every MSSF student has a very different award. So for some of them, we are covering a tuition gap. The student received $80,000, they need $85,000. We are giving them $5,000 towards their tuition, and that's it. In some cases, the students are saying, well, my family can cover the we can cover $5,000, but we need help with the plane ticket and the visa fee, and I need some help settling in to buy books and a computer when I arrive. My family can cover the tuition, but we need help with those extra expenses. So it really depends on each individual student, what they need, what their family can afford, and what the university or college is already covering. But some examples of expenses that we can cover would include tuition, flights, books, equipment like computers, health insurance, sometimes a settling in allowance, or a monthly stipend for meals if your financial aid doesn't include a meal plan. Sometimes we can cover that.
That's great. If you can please take us to the application if students have any questions, so we can walk them through the application. And yeah, please be encouraged to apply for this opportunity. Any additional money would help in your college life, so seize that chance to apply. It's here, it's easy.
Yes, all right, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Ilham? Okay, great. So I'm going to go to the Amideast Tunisia page right now. I'm sure that everyone watching here is very tech savvy, and you can also just Google Amideast MSSF Tunisia and you'll find the page. But in case you want to go through the website, here's our website, amideast.org/Tunisia. You want to scroll down here to find a scholarship or exchange program. Do not go here to study in the USA. That will take you to learn all about the services that Ilham provides, the mentoring and the coaching. But if you just want money, then go here to find a scholarship or exchange program. And then you're going to click on undergraduate study, because again, this is only a program for undergraduate study. And MSSF is the only option. So you're going to click here. And then you can read more about the scholarship. It basically goes over all of the information that we've already talked about today. And then you can click here to apply online. So this is what the application looks like. It's really simple. It honestly shouldn't take you too long. As I said, that the deadline is approaching, but it's a simple application. So we're just going to ask for your name, your address, phone number, email address, birth date, all of that basic biographical information. And then we're going to ask for your countries of citizenship. So, here you would put Tunisia, and then if you have another citizenship, please let us know. As long as it's not American, then you're eligible to apply. Citizenship of parents here, if different from yours. And again, we're asking, do either of your parents hold a green card to the United States? If so, which parent? And here, your intended major of study. Now here, under family information, this is where we're asking about financial need, essentially. So here, you're going to put in your father's annual salary. Please indicate if this is in Tunisian dinars or US dollars. We prefer to just receive the amount in dinars. But if you're telling us in US dollars, just indicate that, please. Then we'll ask for the mother's annual salary. There's a mistake here in the application where it actually asks for the mother's salary twice. So just go ahead and put the same information both times. So, if it's, I don't know, 12,000 dinars, then just put the same thing here. And then here we have a space for an additional annual salary. This might not be applicable to you, but if you work, or if maybe one of your siblings who still lives in the house works, if someone else who lives in your household has a salary, you can indicate that here. If not, you can just put something like NA for not applicable. And then here you'll write your father's occupation or mother's occupation, if any. Again, you can always put NA for any of these fields if they're not applicable to you. And then here under financial information, we ask about the value of family savings and investments, own property, et cetera, et cetera. Again, all of these expenses, we prefer to just receive them in Tunisian dinars, but please do indicate, are you telling us the value in TND or USD? And then we'll ask about the number of people living in your household, and who are they? What's their age? Are they working or not? And then here, a very important question, the estimated family contribution towards your education for the 4 years. So if your family can contribute financially, please let us know how much they can afford to contribute. If the answer is nothing, that's okay. You can say that. But if they can help contribute in any way, please let us know how much can they afford to contribute. And then finally, you're going to upload your letter of motivation, CSS profile, and very important, the admission letter and the financial aid package that you've received. So here for the motivation letter, I just want to emphasize it's 1,000 words maximum. That's the maximum. Please do not exceed the maximum. You can write less. You can write 600 words or 500 words or 700 words, but please don't write more than 1,000 words. Here for the CSS profile, again, this is our preference, but if you cannot upload a CSS profile, you can upload the ISFAA, or if you can't upload that, then any financial documents that you think can help us make our determination. And then important, the admission letter and the financial aid package. If you don't have this yet, then unfortunately you're not eligible for MSSF yet. But again, we will open the application again for those who haven't received an acceptance. Once that's done, you're going to sign here, put your little electronic signature and submit. And it's as simple as that.
Great, thank you so much, Annie. Just a final question from the audience. So do you need the documents to be translated or not?
You do not need the documents to be translated. Our staff speaks French and Arabic and English, so any language is fine.
Nice. Thank you so much. With that, we do not have any more questions for you. So we encourage everyone, every student here to seize their chances to apply for MSSF. If you have any questions, we can provide you with our contact information to ask any questions. Don't worry, the MSSF will open again for those who applied for regular decisions. So just if you applied ED, early decision, make sure to apply for this opportunity. You never know, you may qualify for this opportunity and help yourself pay extra fees that you're worried about. So thank you so much, Annie, for this presentation. We'll also include the link to the application on our Facebook Live to help everyone figure out where the link is. You have a great evening, everyone, and thank you so much for following us. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.